GM, everyone. Welcome back to another Market Mates episode. Sorry, I'm just going to go straight away and call my broker, Craig. She just tried to call me.
So that's right.
So I'll put the chart up. I'll put the chart up, and you can take it from here, mate. You can take it from here.
All right, cool. Fire it up. Greeny's going to talk to his broker.
Sorry, guys. It's happening right now.
Yeah, put me in, coach.
Put me in. Hold on. The Restream's gone and changed all their settings over the weekend too. So
right,
we're good. All right, I'll be back.
All right, cool, dude. GM, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Market Mates. Greeny's just taking a call with his broker. They've been chatting about another house they found on the weekend. So pretty important call when you're looking for a house. You got to take those sorts of calls, especially first thing in the morning. But thank you for pulling up. I just popped me Zen in. I'm ready to go. Hopefully everyone's all right. I guess since we won't talk the news until Greeny comes back, we'll have a look at the Bitcoin chart, which is obviously broken below a pretty key level of 85,000 we spoke about last week. One of the reasons I actually sold half of my Bitcoin bag at 84,000 about 3 days ago. I put a post in GTG saying I was selling half of my remainder bag because I thought it might break below that or hit its head, at 85,000. Sure enough, look on the chart there. We did form a lower high. We broke below 85, bumped our head at 84, and then we plummeted down to about 75,000 2 days ago. So lower high has been confirmed, as you can see there, guys, and we broke below the trend line, the trend level. And I would say that was the confirmation of the lower high Greeny and I have been calling since maybe September last year. And that's it, it's played out now, right? So that's one thing to call it. It's another thing to watch it play out live. And we've been watching it play out live for about the last 4 months. So those of you who tuned in for that amount of time would have heard us go on and on about it, probably ad nauseum, and you're probably sick of us hearing it. Well, finally, the move's played out, which is not necessarily a bad thing. At least we know what the market wants to do now and where it wants to go and what direction it wants to go. It looks like it wants to go lower. Greeny and I will have a little chat today about that move, about some other influencers and calls and that are now turning a bit bearish. Some obviously turning bullish and saying this might be a local bottom. Perhaps it is. Maybe we'll see a little complacency bounce from here. But certainly for Bitcoin, there is a fair amount of work to do. If we're to get to a fresh new all-time high from here, it's going to need a lot of help and probably nothing short of a miracle. Rate cuts might help a little bit, maybe not immediately, and I'm not sure rate cuts is the thing that's going to send us to a new all-time high. Obviously, with the new Fed chair perhaps coming in, I'm not sure when that announcement will come in, but I'm not sure if that'll be enough to really rocket this market, considering it's looked structurally like we were going to go into a bear market for the last 4 months. I'm not sure an announcement like that will completely change the direction of the ship. So, yeah, a bit of a tough one. Just what Greeny's I can't actually control the screen, but I'll just talk you through what I'm looking at there on the chart. So for me, we tapped the fib levels down from the swing high to the swing low. We've now broken down to 74,000. So the fib below is 74,000, obviously 74,400. We tapped 75,700. Give or take a little bit. So next big level I'm looking below is about 60K. That is a big level lower. There'll be a few little smaller levels in between, but certainly that's the next level. So that's actually one of the reasons why I sold half of what I had left, just because it's a bit of a free fall from 85 to 60. Anywhere in there can plummet pretty fast. And obviously when we hit our head at about 85,000, we broke down to 75,000 pretty friggin' quick. So a 10K dip in what must have been about 24 hours. That's a pretty savage dip on Bitcoin. And obviously when Bitcoin dips that much, your favorite alts and meme coins just absolutely get decimated. So we've seen some pretty brutal pullbacks. Obviously privacy coins, we'll run through all this when Greeny gets in and maybe in a bit more detail. But like XMRs, pulling back 13.5%. We've got Ethereum down 8% just on the day today. Pump's down 7, Mog's down 6, Sol's down 6, Sui's down 5. So everything's pulling back harshly. And this is what I was talking about the other day, in that the biggest risk factor for everything else is if Bitcoin has a pullback. So I know sometimes I'll put analysis on Bitcoin on the timeline or in GTG, and Greeny will do the same. And perhaps people in alts and meme coins are like, oh, I don't need to know about this chart. I'm in alts and memes, so Bitcoin, I don't really care about that. The issue is that everything else moves according to Bitcoin. So one of the things I've learned over time from being heavily into memes and alts, specifically in 21, was if you understand Bitcoin, even if you're not heavily into Bitcoin, it gives you a sort of a view to the future of what alts might do and memes might do. So certainly it's a good thing to track Bitcoin because it'll let you know what the rest of your bags are going to do. So even if you're not heavy into Bitcoin, probably is still a good idea to learn how the Bitcoin chart moves because it'll let you position yourself accordingly in alts and memes. So yeah, certainly alts and memes have taken a big hit. We had, once again, we'll talk about this when Greeny comes back in a bit more detail, but we had about 2.5 billion liquidated on that dip, which I believe is the biggest crypto wipeout ever. So that is quite an accomplishment. 2.5 billion, including I think one trader lost 200 million on that. He must have been long, I think. So yeah, tough time for the market. Tough one to see, obviously, in a way, good that the analysis played out. So I guess from a trader's point of view, and me, while I might not be happy with the price action, it's at least followed what the chart was saying. So as a trader, when you're looking to trade to instill confidence in it, when I'm trading, I like to see charts, e.g. Bitcoin and assets, follow the trend, behave well to the fib levels that we talk about when we're using our fib retracement tool, and behave according to those fib levels. The worst thing you can see is a chart not behave according to them and behave irrationally. This has been behaving quite rationally for a while. So even though this dump feels scary and out of nowhere, perhaps for some people, it's been building, I think, for a long time. So ever since we saw that dip to, to about 80,000 when we broke down there and tapped that level, we've been on a high alert since then. So a bit of a tricky time. A lot of people probably were caught offside on this move, probably thought we were going to bounce quite aggressively from that 80K level. We did bounce back up to the 85. Obviously, like I said, when we hit our head at 85 and broke below, it was a free fall back down to 75. So I think we go lower. We could see a little bit of a bounce here. I don't know if we break back above. So key levels I'm looking at now, obviously some round levels, 80,000 getting above there, and above that about 85,000. Welcome back, dude. How was it?
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, yeah, it's more about where are we financially liable to get to before we won't be allowed to get a loan. So I think
your mic's a bit tinny. Just sounds like it's.
Is that better?
Yeah, way better.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no. So the loan. Yeah, no. Just speaking to my broker about this house application, and it's all complicated, and of course it's like you're hitting the top end, but I think it's probably where you want to be. It's anything below there is probably not what you want to live in, or it'll be you'd outgrow it too quickly. All these sort of things that I'm dealing with at the moment. So, and also crypto. I mean, my bags would, maybe I'll have to remove my 75K order bid, Craig. And wait, are we dumping right now? We are dumping right now. It's 75.
Yeah, dude, we are breaking down live on the show, guys. We might actually test out. Are we on a fib level now, Greeny?
No, I don't think so. Above. But we are currently, like I said, we can sweep these lows, but we need to if we want any chance of at least attempting back towards 80, 81, we need to sweep and then show a lot of strength here, buy pressure and come up. So, I mean, if I just quickly have a look, I haven't looked at charts this morning, actually. I don't know, man. It's an interesting, we might have a do or die situation right now on the show. If we lose this, I feel like we go to 69 very, very soon. But if we don't lose this, and this is just a sweep of liquidity, then I think 81, 80K is around a region that I like. So back towards these sort of bottoms here of these previous sort of swings levels. If we flip that, then I think yearly open becomes a target, and potentially these sort of not invalidations, but imbalances up towards here would probably be, that's where your yearly open would be. But I think that would be very much, let's grab all this and then, we continue back down sort of thing. So, I mean, we might even see live on the show what actually happens in price. We are up now $700. So let's see. But what did you cover, Craig? Did you Look, we've been right. We've been talking about this. I had a look this morning and I sent them to Craig too. So we obviously spoke at Oz CryptoCon in November last year. And there's clips of us. I'm trying to clip it right now. Of us talking about just being cautious in the current market conditions. I didn't even trade in our trading competition with OKX because the market was so bearish. And sure enough, 3 months later, we're already playing out as we have kind of read it. So I've been on a bit of a tear on Twitter over the weekend, just basically saying, guys, you need to follow people who know what they're talking about, who predict and prepare for market reactions, market shifts, market changes, right? So many people out there, and so many people out there who sell you courses, who sell you academies, who sell you this narrative, this ecosystem, this group chat that they give you. They are reactive. They, at all-time highs, these are the same people who were buying, and now they're the ones who are de-risking now. The time to de-risk was months ago. You don't de-risk at the lows when price is down 40% from the highs. That is the time that I start to consider buying because I de-risked when I stabled up last year, right? So these people out there, you need to unfollow them, unsubscribe from them because they don't know what they're talking about and they react to people like Craig and I who tell them what to do every single day, right? Because we know what we're doing. So it's a fascinating industry, Craig, and we're seeing it happen in real time where our analysis, our education is really coming to the forefront and allowing people to trust that we know what we're talking about. And we now have so many public records of that, Craig. Not only did we smash the bear market, we smashed meme coins, we smashed ordinals, we smashed airdrops and stuff throughout the cycle. We also timed close to the top. I'm not here to say I was a top caller, but we de-risked. And I even told you recently as well, when price got to 97, I said, Craig, what are you actually holding for? Like, you're holding for a 10% increase on a larger bag here. What if we dump? And sure enough, 2 weeks later, we're down to 75K, right? So it's just nice that all of our experience together, our ability to help educate people out there allows people to at least mentally prepare and think about the scenario of price going down, because price not only goes up, but it goes down.
Yeah, that's right. And what you tend to find at this stage of the market as well is the moves down are quite aggressive. Yeah. So they're similar to the moves up in euphoria. You start the moves, and this is what I remember last bear market when we were entering it, is how fast it slips. And if you don't take your exits, like I was just saying to the guys before you jump back, I put a message up in GTG selling 50% of what I had left. And that was at 84. And I said, I was worried that we're going to hit our head at 85. And we did, and we plummeted to 75, like a 10K drop in 24 hours. That's how fast that drop was. So if you didn't take your exit at that level, you're now having to consider taking an exit at 75, 76 now. Yeah. So, a 10 to 15% loss on not taking action. So I'm glad I sold there, glad I sold at 97. And so I guess what I've got left now all up is about maybe a 10 to 15% bag of Bitcoin. Which I would just watch the market and see what it does. But yeah, certainly exiting or scaling out at those levels was good. Obviously, we scaled out all the way up to, I think my top sale was 126K. That's where I took 10 or 15% off when we hit there. So I was pretty close to all-time high. But even in knowing all the things we did, no one times the tops. You can't time the top. It's not like I sold 100% then I went, yeah, see, I nailed it. No one nails it. No one does. The interesting thing for me is not what I got right, but it's more how many got it wrong. That's what shocked me a little bit, including some most big names, most notable names. I didn't see too many calling lower high.
Still bullish, bro. No, honestly.
Like no one. Like hardly anyone. Now they are. Yeah. But we've dropped 40% since.
There is so many influential calls on the timeline who are so wrong. There are people like us who have been right. Shout out to TJ Sol. He's been right. Shout out to Killer as well. He's the trader I've been following now for a little bit. He was right. Again, I'm not going to call out the people who are wrong, but these are people with more followers than me, Craig. And they're out here saying, Bitcoin is going to 112K. Bitcoin is going to 100K. No, it isn't, bro. And you could have seen that in so many ways. Like, crazy. These are people with 8 years plus experience in the markets. Like it's baffling for me. It's because, you know why? It's because engagement is always supreme if you're a bull. And like, again, we saw a notable person this morning who me and you have the utmost respect for. I saw a tweet from them this morning saying local low is in, we're going higher, bought a big bag of this. I was like, I don't know, bro. I disagree. Like, don't fight the trend. The trend is your friend until it changes. And the trend here is bearish. And it's been bearish since we had the swing failure patterns at 120K way back in September, where we spoke about that when it was happening. I said, this is reason to be cautious here. Triple drive, okay, of bearish divergences, swing failure patterns on multiple timeframes. We didn't quite hit Fibonacci extensions, but we went above the 1.618, okay, compared to the previous cycle. Look, it's just playing out exactly as we have talked about it for a while. So, I mean, let's talk about that. So what are your price predictions, Craig? Let's be bold. Let's be bold. I've got DCA orders from basically 75K. So as I was saying to Craig before the stream, I really need to not put it as round numbers. I need to maybe go like 75.250 or 67.6K, like 48.9K, right? Like to make it a little bit more obscure rather than psychological round numbers. So I might need to go change my orders. But I've got my orders. This is the first time I have felt confident, nearly, not quite. First time I've felt confident to take a trade and to look to DCA into this asset for the long term. In my opinion, the risk now is far superior to where it has been literally since, I don't even know, mid-24. This is the first time I've felt comfortable thinking about buying since mid-2024. And that's saying something, right? So, look, yeah, I've got my orders set. Ethereum, I'm still holding my Pudgy Penguin. I want to talk about that too, because they're now down at 9.1K, Craig. Ooh! I had to tweet. Everyone's like, "Oh, Greeny, you're flooding your PFP, bro. Why are you talking so much fun?" I'm like, I'm just talking about market commentary, bro. This isn't fun. I'm just giving you an update about what Pudgy Penguins are. They're below 10K for the first time since November 2023. I'm allowed to talk about that. If anyone can talk about it, it's a guy who owns the PFP, right? You idiots.
Yeah, that's right. If you own it, I think you get to talk about it more. If you don't, and you kind of just grave dancing, although you're still giving commentary on something that's valid anyway. So exactly. The truth's the truth. The truth hurts sometimes. And I think the only people who'd be upset about you talking about that are unfortunately people like me who hold it, and it kind of stings, right? That's why you don't want to hear it.
Exactly.
Your parents think you did something wrong at school and you don't want to talk about it. You're like, sorry, like you feel guilty. It's that, like, that's what gets people to go. I mean, it's the same as when you and me were calling for taking profit above 120K, and I won't name names, but there were certain people. I had DMs from one certain person calling Greeny and I obscene words, and he is kind of a friend of mine in the space. He's actually not been around for 3 months.
Slam him. Text him right now and slam him.
And he was calling us names and saying we're fudding the market, and what's interesting to me is when people see stuff like that, you can really feel their emotions. And I'm like, you're calling me a rude name based on a price prediction I gave. If I'm wrong, that's fine. But by the way, I wasn't wrong. I was right. So those names, anyway, it doesn't matter. And what's funny is those people that said those things are no longer with us. So I haven't seen a comment from him. I haven't even sent him a DM. I thought about being cheeky the other day and sending him a DM, and I was like, nah, I don't want to be that guy. But yeah, certainly. Look, I've seen a few bigger names now yesterday starting to say, look, I was wrong on my take. It was a lower high.
At least they're admitting they're wrong. I have respect for people that admit they were wrong.
Yeah, so do I, because I haven't seen many posts like that. But what was interesting is now seeing those bigger names starting to come across to the idea of it. So probably a bit of a shock to them. And I can only imagine what it's like to be a newer person in the space. And if you've been following certain people, 200,000 followers, 400,000 followers, and they've been saying, look, we're going to go higher, and then waking up and reading that tweet from them and them going, I was wrong, you just be like, dude, I trusted you. You were meant to be, knowledgeable in the space, and you've just led people to the absolute slaughter. Like, imagine the all-time high being 127K, and then at 75K, you go, oops, I was wrong.
I think the issue here is the separation between people who care about their followers, their community, and the people who may think that they've made it well enough that they don't care anymore, and they bull post because that means they get more referrals, they get more engagement, they get more followers, they earn more money that way. So I think that's the real separation there. And please, if you're watching our show, please know, no matter how big Craig and I get, we will always be the same two Aussie blokes that we have been since we started this show in 2023 when I had no followers. Craig had 10K followers. We will always be, our focus will always be education and analysis and unbiased analysis. The amount of people that were like, Greeny, you're fudding your penguin bags. Like, why you got so much hate? I said, no, bro, it's just market commentary. Like, this is like, I'm not the one driving down price. I'm the one just commenting on what the market is showing us, right? Sure, I should have de-risked my Pudgy Penguin even last week or 2 weeks ago. Even yesterday, I thought about it, but I haven't yet, right? So it's like, it's the one asset I have not sold, which I don't know why I'm emotionally attached to that PFP. Because the thing about like a brand too is like your PFP matters and people know, okay, the black background Pudgy Penguin, well, that's Greeny. Like that, it's that psychological, oh no, like they don't even need to see the name. They just go, oh, you know, that's Greeny. Like I know what that is. I know who that is. I know what they're talking about. So it's a hard time for me to change my PFP. I did change my PFP in the server of GTG actually over the weekend. So maybe that'll become, look, I thought you could just do a placid like facial PFP, or you could make it more of a meme. So I think more of a meme probably is just better for CT eventually, but we'll have to see. But anyways, we've got a CME gap here, Craig, as well on our Bitcoin. So very crucial level here between 81.2 and where, well, I mean, a little bit higher than where price is now, 77.8. So does that get filled? Historically, we do like to fill our CME gaps. So that would be a reason for us to maybe get back up here, reject from, I suppose, that support there and then continue the trend down towards 69K in the coming weeks. Yeah, look, that probably happens. I mean, if we pump up and hit higher, like 87s, and fill all this imbalance up here as well, that's probably caution for the win that we will dump lower. However, if we dump sooner, so say we fill this really quickly and dump really quickly into the 60K region down here, I actually think like Q2 could see a bit of a relief rally, right? And complacency bounce again. But again, confirming a lower high because the trend is your friend. And I think a lot of people need to really just accept that the market can go down. Like we speak about that for so long, Craig. The market can go down. I don't understand why people are so scared of price going down. I get excited. I rejoice. I get pumped because it's the first time I felt good about risk to reward for a long, long time. So it baffles me about why so many people are really just against a bear market. Like I get greedy because that's the best opportunity for ROI, for return on investment is a bear market. So I shared this on Twitter over the weekend too. How to spot a downtrend that might be useful in the next few months. It got 42 bookmarks.
Wow. That's good. That's pretty good.
So yeah, anyways, back to conversations. Let's talk about this. So Michael Saylor continues to click buy. He now owns $55 billion worth of Bitcoin. His average price, does it tell us now here? Yeah, average cost price is $76,000. So we are currently right at where Michael Saylor's average cost price is with $712,000 of Bitcoin. This is pretty crazy, Craig. I'm fascinated to see. Look, his bubbles are above where price currently is. So I hope he's still got some cash in the tank because I hope he's ready to buy at $50,000 because I think we're going to hit that sooner rather than later potentially. What are your thoughts about this, Craig? More orange is the quote that he loves to keep using. I think he should hire one of us or both of us because we could have told him, hey, bro, just wait a little bit. The fact that he's been buying and price hasn't dumped already shows you how low we could have gone if he wasn't actually buying as well. What are your thoughts, Craig?
Yeah. He's a tricky one. I've seen a lot of people putting comments up saying he can't actually get liquidated. So I need to look a bit more into that. What is it? Is it their cash reserves are quite large?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much of a risk factor he is or MicroStrategy is to Bitcoin in regards to if the price dumps, you have to sell, yada, yada. If he starts selling, man, the market will respond so badly. Like just the optics of it will be horrific. I guess, yeah. Look, like you just said, you can't really fight the trend. You're going to, what I think you're going to see for the next 6 months is drop down, recoveries, complacency bounces, drop, complacency bounce. It's just going to go, but the trend's down. So it's just going to keep bouncing, hitting its head, just like it does on the way up. It just goes down, bounces. It's the opposite now. Now there's a ceiling the whole way.
Yeah.
The coin feels heavy. It feels like there's a lot of weight on it, pushing it down to me, the way I look at it. The price is dropping quite quickly. It's pretty much free fall sometimes. You asked where I'm looking for buys. I think anywhere from 70K below. 69,000 obviously was the last all-time high. So I'm pretty keen to buy some around that level. But to be honest, I'm probably chasing a bigger discount than that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to time the bottom, but I think we probably break lower than that. I just think, no, and the issue is I don't know how deep we go, just due to things like the ETFs, Sailor, things like that. It might pad us a bit. Or maybe it won't, dude. Maybe when the stock market breaks down, when metals pull back more heavy, when everything breaks down more, how much weight and pressure is going to be on the riskier assets like cryptos? That sort of stuff, bad sentiment can send us slightly, lower than fib levels sometimes. So just like euphoria can send you higher, as we saw in metals, despair or fear can send us lower than normal. So I don't know, man. I reckon we could see 40s or 50s.
I think we could see 40s. If you look at this too, so from where we currently are on the monthly stochastic, and the first point here, we just had a monthly close, and the worrying fact is the monthly pivot was 117K in January. It did not change. It is 117K in February. That means there is severe bearish continuation on high timeframes to the downside. Like that, you cannot, the fact that it hasn't even gone down closer to where price is just shows you how much pressure there is to the downside for continuation in 2026. And sure, it doesn't necessarily mean we can't pump to 87 in the short term. It just means over the long term of 26, there is, it's basically like a big hammer just hammering it right now, continuously bang, 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 until we get to the level where it becomes undervalued again, right? And if you take a look where we currently are in stochastic momentum on monthly, it took 335 days before we left the 20th percentile again. So if we have a look at where that is January 2027 before price starts to leave the 20th percentile again. So you probably have the next year or so to, no drums, the next year or so to probably look at accumulating this asset. And again, it might front run. Again, that's not calling the bottom. It's just showing you that you probably have that period of time where price will give you better risk to reward in the long term. Now, let's look at actual price. So if we look at where price went down from, okay, so price went down from where we currently are. So it's about here, which is the 1st of April. Okay, so 1st of April, where price went all the way down. So again, everyone's like, oh, you need news events to dump it that hard. Well, not necessarily. Like I'm showing you here with price already shows you the narrative that's taken place. We have severe pressure to the downside. We're coming down after 3 or 2 years overextension at the oversold territory, the overbought territory at the 80th plus percentile. We are well below the pivot, What's that, like $40,000 below the pivot? Okay, that is tremendous. That's literally more than half of a Bitcoin below the pivot. So inevitably, I think we definitely could go down a lot further. So it says 58%. Let's be not as bearish. Okay, so let's go 25%. So for example, if we went down another 25%, which is on the cautious side, the most maybe bullish scenario, that's high 50s. Okay. If we play out exactly like we saw in 2021, I don't think we probably are that bearish. I think there's too many people that would accumulate Bitcoin. Then we could, if it corrects exactly the same from where it currently is on stochastic on the monthly chart after breaking tremendously, same structure over here, okay, from breaking this trend, as you can see it, breaking the trend and continuing down from where stochastic is currently at around the 43 to 55 range, 58% right now would see us down at $32,000 for Bitcoin. Look, worst case scenario, yeah, I think we could revisit 32K. I don't think we personally get down there. There's obviously liquidity down here as well. These taps here where we left the bull cycle to go crazy, that was basically our confirmation. Yep, we are now leaving reaccumulation range down here in 23 and now going into a bull market. Okay, that was that period. So do we go that deep? Probably not. I think there's a lot of liquidity in this vicinity here, okay? From this high that we set in March 2024, from this high as well in, when was this? Last cycle, November 2021. And obviously these lows as well. It's probably a high time frame level as well, which went all the way back to 48K, which actually really nicely aligns with these highs as well over here. So this, as I've been saying for a while, I put a tweet up earlier in the month, and Clemente actually brought it up on their show and says, oh, Greeny thinks we're going to go down to this area. He can't wait to buy Bitcoin down there. God damn, that aged well. It bloody aged well. And I can't wait to buy Bitcoin below 75K, 69K, between 48K and that. I cannot wait to buy it. And again, further proof that we know what we're talking about. We talk about it before it happens, not after. That's the big difference with a lot of influencers out there. They talk about things after it's happened. We talk about it before it happens, right? Anyways, what I'm looking at, Craig, is potentially worst case scenario. If we follow where stochastic momentum is currently on the monthly, then 32K could be a target. Come back down here, bear target. But I don't think we go that low. I think there's too much buy pressure from a lot of people out there, a lot of funds, a lot of countries. But I do think this vicinity here around that sort of like previous all-time high, last cycle at 69K, to around this liquidity low here to these lower highs here, I think that is our range of accumulation here. And timing, would say maybe around Jan 27 is when we start to maybe break out of this range and push back up later into 27, 28. So that's at least what I'm looking at and what my plan is for accumulating Bitcoin.
Yeah, same as mine. And that's sort of what the chart says, isn't it? So it's not really surprising. You know, I've got the same thought process on that. Yeah. I mean, it's hard, like we were saying, it's hard to pick bottoms. It's hard to pick tops. Yeah. But certainly if you buy in that range, I think in time, if your time horizon is long enough, e.g. 1 year plus, it'll work out pretty good. If you're buying Bitcoin, even if you time it, don't get the low and you buy it at 69, if you hold your sats long enough, you're probably going to come out pretty good, right? You'll probably come out with a 2-3x, no problemo. Yeah, you'll probably have to wait. You might have to wait 2 years, but you know, when you're investing, that's not that long. I recently sold some Bitcoin. I suppose my bags I've had since 23, some of it. So, you know, I've held 2 years, 3 years on some of those bags. So sometimes you have to look at a longer time horizon. Obviously, some people watching want a quick 2-3x. It doesn't always come like that, unless you take riskier moves. But if you want a fairly safe-ish, not financial advice, 2-3x, probably buying it at 60K is not the worst place in the world. I'm a bit greedier, lower than that. But like I said, I'll be scaling in from about 69, more lightly around those levels, and then I'll start to increase the size of the buy as we go below there. But same as you, time horizon, about a year, right? About a year. So it's actually going to cut. The good news is, and we spoke about this already, is that since this move's playing out now, time can start ticking until, you know, we bottom out and start to move up again. That's a good thing. In that, I kind of wish this move had just happened 3 months ago, really, because we've just been in like this, is it going to, is it not? Is it going to, is it not? Is it going to for 3 months? You kind of wish we had just ripped the Band-Aid off. Obviously, that's not how markets work. But in an ideal world, back in September last year, I wish it had just dumped to here, because we'd be 3 months further, 4 months further in the process. But you can't fight the trend. You can't fight fate. I'm like you. I'm excited. Good morning, JD. It's the first time in a while that I'm not so defensive and starting to maybe become more offensive, which just means I'll be looking to enter soon. So it's been a while since I've bought some Bitcoin, so I wouldn't mind buying some. I want to fill up my Bitcoin bags. That's my play for this next run, this bear market coming. Buy up Bitcoin, sell it in the bull. It's pretty stress-free, dude. It's such a stress-free trade. These are the ones where you can make quite a lot of money without having to watch a chart every day, like a Memecoin or an altcoin. And the thing I was talking about the people before was, I think a lot of people don't understand the value of, even if you're not heavily in Bitcoin, to understand how Bitcoin moves, because it obviously leads everything else. So if I was someone watching out there, even if you don't hold big Bitcoin bags, but you intend to hold big alt or Memecoin bags, still probably a pretty good idea to familiarize yourself with the way Bitcoin moves, because it leads everything else in our little bubble. Obviously, these driving forces above us, that might go above a few people's heads. Maybe if you're new to the market, it's not the time to start looking looking at macro factors, maybe, but certainly maybe appreciate that they exist and understand that Bitcoin is also not the main driving force in all things. But that's a talk maybe for another day. Ethereum.
Okay, let's talk about this because we do talk about Bitcoin a lot and we don't really talk about Solana and Bitcoin. So Ethereum is down nearly 6.5% in the past 24 hours. It is now structurally lost its support that it's pretty much held since July 2022. Now, we did have a deviation in reclaim last year after the tariff scare. That was a black swan event. So naturally, we did reclaim, we showed strength, we bounced up, and we actually did set a new high above that. Not quite a new all-time high. We had that swing value pattern, okay, where price basically grabbed this liquidity up here and then dumped. So that's quite bearish. The worry for me here, Craig, is our pudgy penguins. I'm not worried about a pudgy penguin. I'm worried about ETH. That's what I'm worried about. And that's the separation here. And the thing with this too is if the AUD continues to outperform the USD, we are basically lighting money on fire by holding a NFT, right? Because it's going down on Ethereum. Ethereum's going down and USD is going down against AUD. Like that is the worst scenario for any type of asset, like token, NFT, whatever it is. That is not what you want. So that is my main question: is like, do we sell because the pressure of Ethereum going down here? Like if we have a look at this, like if we analyze this, this is a structure break. We are probably going to retest this invalidation here. Sorry, not invalidation. All these imbalances here, which actually aligns back with these lows here that never actually got revisited as well. That's $1,400 ETH, Craig. That's still down another 40% from where price is. If Bitcoin goes to 50K region, Ethereum definitely trades at low 1,000 region. That is basically a 40% drop from where we are in Pudgy Penguin. Say they hold up, let's say 5 ETH. 5 ETH times 1, that's only $6,000, Craig. They're going to go down another $3,000 in the coming months, I would say. Do we try and salvage the ETH? The interesting part here is I bought my Pudgy Penguin. ETH was so cheap that I bought it for 11 ETH, but now it's only worth 4 ETH and it's down about 60%. So I'm like, well, what do I do here? Do I just tax loss harvest that, call it a day? Do I just hodl it through the bear cycle and it's just my PFP for a while now? What are your thoughts here? Because it's the Ethereum chart that worries me here. Not the NFT collection, not the NFT itself, but the Ethereum chart, which it is valued in.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm still wrestling with that myself because one way of getting out of jail is what you could do is go into stables, buy Bitcoin nearest the bottom. Obviously, it'll bounce and you can recover those losses that way. So that's one way I get out of trouble is using Bitcoin like that. Obviously, you might have to wait a year or 2 years but that might happen quicker than the pudgy bouncing maybe. The problem is catalysts just aren't there. Abstract's obviously been delayed. Obviously, we were all thinking Q4 25.
Nothing has come out. Nothing has come out.
There's been no comms. So if there's no comms, they obviously, I think with Abstract, when it launches, I think there'll be a bit of a runway of marketing. So I don't think it's going to be, right, we're launching tomorrow. So when does Abstract launch? When do we launch? When do they launch?
I don't know, but they introduced the polymarket prediction market the other day. Again, there's been like no volume on this at all. So this was very fresh. This was literally yesterday. Everyone's like, this is the freest bet everywhere. Like I wouldn't even consider it below $1 billion. Like because Luke has come out and said on Eli's interview that, yeah, he's targeting base. So it needs to be like number 2 clearly. Like if they launch sooner rather than later, you slam the nose, in my opinion. You slam the nose. If they launch later, then I would change my opinion on that too. Again, you shouldn't hold an asset based on speculation and hype, which arguably we are.
Yeah.
I don't think I am. I hold my Pudgy Penguin for PFP, and because I love the PFP. I think it's one of the most reputable PFPs you can rep on CT these days. And I am a big fan of what Luke is building, right? And I've been holding for a long time. So I don't know. Like, I think that, like you said, you could hopefully try and time bottoms, but is the bottom for NFTs? I would argue the bottom for NFTs is well after Bitcoin bottoms. Like that's the thing, and particularly Ethereum. Ethereum could trade back in 3 figures. That's the thing. Like at a 3-figure Ethereum, that makes your NFT worth only a couple $1,000s, right? So you got to be aware of these potential scenarios happening. I don't know, Craig. What do you think? When does Abstract launch?
Man, I got no idea now. I mean, I just look at the Bitcoin chart and crypto as a whole, and I just think if they were to launch now, it'd be a hard task, wouldn't it? It'd be hard to be successful. So I'd probably hold it back. Man, a year? Longer?
Longer.
But if
It could
longer,
be longer.
2 years?
Yeah. But you need to come out and say that. I think because
there's people with money on there, man. Like,
yeah. And the community, there's some sub communities that have been created on there, and they're cult like, and there's like, I feel sorry for people that have been branded, let's call it, branded into these cults. And then they, the wild thing about this is they get angry at people like us. They FUD us, they mute us, they block us, they spam our comments with absolute derogatory comments. But it's a reflection on the community that they're a part of and their unrealistic perception of how crypto works, right? And I feel so sorry for those people. And they're still in my comments literally over the past few days. It's like,
Greeny buying the bottoms.
It's just wild.
Sorry, you're buying the tops. I saw some comments.
So I called him out with profit proof, and I dropped the Pengu public trade underneath of an 800 ROI %. And yeah, he's like, oh no, look, the blockchain doesn't lie. I said, well, the blockchain doesn't lie either, brother. Like you can't ignore those things. So anyways, he's bringing up stuff from like 6+ months ago as well. I'm like, homie, move on. And you go and look at their bio, and they've got that cult in there, which is just not good. Like, don't be part of that. It's a subdivide of a community that's struggling as it is. Like, let's be honest here. So, like, look, I'm not fudding anything. I just talk about shit realistically, and I think more people need to talk about it realistically, okay? It's the theme of the show today is the amount of bullish hopium, the amount of people that don't actually know what they're talking about, and the amount of people that don't give you, the viewers, the real take. That's what I hate about crypto the most. That's honestly what I hate about crypto the most. So, look, I agree. I think they should delay abstract, probably a year or two, depending on where the market is and where Bitcoin is and on-chain volume, on-chain transactions, on-chain wallets, all that sort of stuff. I love what they're building. That's the reason I went there way back. I convinced Craig to go there. I was one of the first creators on the platform. I chilled the shit out of it for 6 to 9 months. And people were like, oh, you're fudding it shit. I was like, yeah, bro, because I was part of that ecosystem for 6 to 9 months, right? So, like, I have every right to comment on it because I was part of it. So I'm excited about the potential that they have. But again, it's market conditions that I worry about. You look at OpenSea, MetaMask, like you've got all these tokens, Mega ETH as well. Like, how are they all going to go? Monad dumped, okay? Infinex token dumped, Burb dumped. Like, it's a theme right now. Why would you launch right now? So MetaMask and OpenSea saying Q1 2026, that was a big mistake by them. That is a big mistake. So abstract, I hope
to launch Q4, bro. Had to.
I hope Luke is a bit more switched on, which I think he is, which is why he's probably staying silent about the people. Again, maybe he got in collaboration with Polymarket and said, hey, let's chuck this up, get some good engagement and stuff around it. But it doesn't necessarily give us actually any insight into maybe a timeline for these. So it's tough, man. Look at Monad. Monad had all that extra market liquidity, very much different. I mean, look at Bearer as well. That was something that launched last year with a lot of fake sort of FTV, DeFi volume on that platform. That's gone to zero basically as well. So I would argue it's like the meta of a collection, of a project, of a chain launching a token. Dude, it is saturated and done. I think we need a new meta. We need a new incentive. We need a new model, and that needs to happen sooner rather than later. And I hope Abstract can cultivate that. I really do.
Yeah, so do I. It almost looks like there's no point in launching new chains. No. Really.
Well, there isn't. It's saturated.
No one uses them. No one uses them. Like, yeah, I know. It's like, oh, God. It looks like we didn't need to really make more chains. We maybe should have just stuck to the main stuff. But I guess that's progress. You got to F around and find out. But, yeah, I'm interested to see whether these, do OpenSea and MetaMask still launch in Q1? Do they still launch? They
have to. I think they're public. I'm pretty sure OpenSea definitely confirmed Q1. I'm pretty sure MetaMask did too, but I could be slightly wrong.
Yeah, it's like, oh, man. Like, okay, I'm just interested to see how it plays out. I'll get a little bit from OpenSea, see how it goes. Hopefully it sends, but geez, man. It may not be the liquidity event we all wanted. It might not be quite as I was hoping that would start a nice NFT run. Not now. Well, yeah, because I thought Q4, man. Q4 would have been. Q4. What was Bitcoin in Q4? Was it still 100K?
Yeah, it was floating around that. Yeah.
So it just would have made life a lot easier for these chains. Now, with all these influencers as well coming out saying, look, okay, looks like we are in a bear market or entering one now. Whoa, wow, dude.
Speaking of OpenSea, I can claim my wave four. I can claim it, so I'll do that after.
Yeah, nice.
Really interesting. Let's talk about this because we don't talk enough around DeFi, I think. If we look, there is tremendous DeFi change. Literally, in just the past 24 hours, Ethereum has lost 9.2%. Solana's lost 9.2%. Binance Smart Chain has lost 9%. But Bitcoin DeFi has gone down nearly 9%. The only one in the top 10 that is above zero in positive is this. It just like this screams long-term one of the best tokens right now. Like, I think we go way lower, and I know I'm short from $34 on Hyperliquid, but it just screams value even here at $30, Craig. I'm kind of tempted to buy even just $5,000 so I own a little bit. But I think the rest of the market's going to hold it back a little bit. I think it is. Like, you can't control total crypto market cap, but there is a lot of strength there. There's a lot of strength in on-chain volume, wallets, active traders, liquidity, safety. It's an on-chain DEX that allows anybody in the world to use it. And look at this. TVL is actually increasing when everything else is decreasing, except for Sol on the 7-day. Crazy, Craig. That is crazy to me.
It's giving good signs, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the sort of stuff you want to see when pressure's to the downside and somebody's trying to buck it or go against that. That for me is just such a good metric to follow. I'll be buying loads of that, dude. I'm just going to wait and abide my time, but I'll be DCAing into a hyper for sure. That and Bitcoin will be my two probably quite large plays. That'll be like we've spoken about. That'll be my Solana play.
Exactly. That'll be my 2023 Solana trade. We'll be Hyperliquid, probably ideally sub 20, but maybe we don't actually get there. I mean, if Bitcoin goes 50K, I do think maybe we do push towards that. But yeah, dude, I think Hyperliquid, even maybe closer to 25, seems a very good risk to reward long-term trade. Goes back towards $100, $200. I said that a few weeks ago, and that's a 4 to 8x potentially. And as you said, excuse me, with size like that, really could be life-changing.
What was the all-time high? That's
it's just sub 70, I think. Sub 70.
Okay, yeah. If you're getting a 25, you're getting a 3.
Sorry, sub 60. It hit 59.
Okay. Yeah. 2x from what? And what's it at the moment?
So it's currently, let me just zoom out a little bit because this chart's a little bit skewed. But if we have a look here, it's currently at 30 while the rest of the market is dumped. It's holding up only 1% down. I'm short from the 0.5 region. From this breakout purely because the macro just is so bearish on Bitcoin, on Ethereum and all that. But I do think that the worry here is that the rest of the market, like the doji candle here sort of shows me that there's indecision on this chart. Another doji candle here on the 3-day as well forming like buy side pressure, but also sell side pressure. So the market is like what's happening with Hyperliquid. It's more like it's unsure because Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana are all dumping so hard. So the market is showing you with those 2 doji candles on the 3-day chart that there's indecision right now. And if Bitcoin can hold up, I do think that this could challenge $35 to $40 again. If Bitcoin can't hold up, I think sadly this does go back towards that lower pocket, right? That $24 to $26 range, where I do think maybe that's the time where I start to go, okay, well, if Bitcoin's in the 60K region, Hyperliquid at $26, okay, I'm just going to have to cop it. Maybe it goes down lower in the term, but you're playing that long-term game as we spoke about. We're playing that risk to reward where it's a long-term trade because time is with you, okay? We looked at the stats. It looks bloody bullish. The chart looks bloody bullish compared to everything else. It's hard not to fade, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And when Bitcoin starts to move up again, the stronger ones should pop harder than Bitcoin. So it's just about positioning yourselves. So you've got to kind of position yourself. Think of it like positioning yourself in a trade when no one else really wants to be in it. Yeah. And that's what I'm looking for. I want to buy this when people are in despair. Like people are bleeding. When people are saying this is wrong, basically full capitulation. People like, that chart you can bring up where people start saying, why isn't the government stepping in? Who did this? People start blaming Michael Saylor. People start screaming at you and me, getting angry again. People start getting angry at those above it, governments for not stepping in and saving their bags. All the stuff I remember from last bear market, I'm waiting for that to come into the market where it's real angry. And not just angry, probably sad, just how I felt in 22/23. So I think that's coming. And I think that's a great shout. I think this is going to be a great buy. And this might be that trade where you shave profit off. It's the one I love, where you get it nice and early, you get a position, you start to stack. So I'll just slowly scale in and get my bag bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you get that rounded bottom, and then you just shave as you go up, like we did with Ray. World's easiest trade in the world, dude. Easiest trade in the world. Hopefully I get it again. Not saying I definitely will, but nothing's definite. But that's one of those trades, certainly where I see it pulling a Ray, where you get a rounded bottom like that and just skateboard ramp. That's so good.
You can go back and look at our tweets. You can go back and look at our live streams. We even at the end of 23 here, when Ray was still sub $1, we were talking about it here at 50 cents. So you still could have locked in a 20x on this minimum, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, look, it was one of my best trades this cycle, and I do think maybe not that lucrative for Hyperliquid, but maybe I have to readjust this weekly order block down here at $12. Maybe it never gets hit. Maybe we hold this $20 to $26 region for the long term, because it's just so bullish and so many people like it, and we do something like this in the coming years. So yeah, look, that's what I see for Hyperliquid, and I think, as you said, Craig, this is definitely one of the best opportunities in the market right now. How much am I going to get from my OpenSea chest? I got to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chests this time, so I didn't quite hit the 7th. Let's open. How much do you think I get back, Craig?
I reckon you're going to get a full 8.
Oh no, I'm getting a punk. I'm getting a punk live on the chat.
Imagine if you pull a punk on the stream, dude. Shit'll get good engagement.
Live on stream chat. Come on, OpenSea. Give me a punk. Give me a punk. I don't know if they bought any punks, but give me a punk.
That would be so
I don't know if it's random or if it's just allocated tier by tier where it's only maximum you supply. Let's go with random. We'll go with random. Come on. Let's see how we go. Let's see how we go. Oh, wait, this is my last one, $220. Oh, I already claimed this stuff. It's underwhelming. Underwhelming.
Have you seen this?
I already minted this. Yeah, I already done that. What the hell? Oh, wave 5 ends in 30 days. My apologies. That was very I thought they had a new one. My apologies, guys. My apologies.
I got no idea where they are in this. I haven't even
I don't know either. But I think this has to be the last wave for OpenSea. The last farming period, surely. Or maybe one more. Maybe one more.
One more. Give us one more.
One more. Take my
money. They can't help themselves, eh?
Dude, it is wild. OpenSea would have, surely they'd have billions in their treasury. Billions.
Why don't they just give back, man? Just give back, OpenSea. Just give us some money back, please.
Be generous. Be generous. Be generous. As we saw yesterday, overnight, $230 billion were wiped out of the crypto market cap. Sorry, am I right there? Yeah, $230 billion was marked out, taken out of the crypto market cap today. Yeah, that was yesterday. Absolutely wild. Solana 13%, Ethereum down 12%, Bitcoin down 7%. I would hate to say live on stream, but I'm going to. I told you so. I've been bearish.
Levi.
I've been bearish for months. I've told you this was going to happen, and we are playing out exactly as I told you so. So if you're watching this and you're new, click follow, click subscribe wherever you're watching. Tune into Market Mates every day, because we give it to you real. I am bullish when I need to be bullish, and I'm bearish when I need to be bearish, but I'm a realist, and that is far superior to 99% of the people that you guys watch on YouTube and Twitter.
It brings back good memories, those sorts of charts or little infographics you brought up there of all red like this. Yeah. God, it takes me back to 22. Oh, all over again, man. Oh, do we get to do this all over again, Greedy? Do we actually get to make lots of money again, do we?
Dude, I'm excited.
Man, the thing is, people get a pretty, like we've spoken about this 1,000 times, but for the new viewers in the room, I'll bring it up and say it again. This is where it gets exciting. Yes. So, and I know people are probably listening to this thinking you're full of crap, Craig. You don't actually think that. I actually really do.
I said this earlier. I'm excited.
I used to fake I liked the blood back when I first started, because I knew I had to convince myself to embrace the darkness and the blood. And you kind of tell yourself, this is good, this is good. But after a while, it actually happens. And you start to think, opportunity, and we haven't had opportunity since Bitcoin hit an all-time high. When it hit that 126, there wasn't any opportunity really, was there? What were you going to buy? Like, everything was all-time high. It's just such a risky buy there. Whereas now we're down 40% on Bitcoin. The risk reward, and that's that video I put out yesterday, the car video, the risk reward now is getting, I would put it in the camp of decent. I wouldn't say it's very, long term it is very good from here actually, but I prefer to buy a little bit lower, so it's extremely good. But now's when I start to go like you were with Hyperliquid. I start to go, I could buy a bit of hype now, knowing it could go lower. Sure, I'll DCA from that point, but on a longer outlook, a year to 2 years, you're probably going to hit a 3x. Yeah. Almost certainly a 2x. Well, I'm not saying certainly, but as close as I can say to certainly with markets. It starts to get good, dude. So if we get a few more weeks or months of that sort of price action, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. What's this?
Feels good right now. Feels good to be stabled up. Look at this. Before September 26, 2025. All on the timeline, all in our shows. Feels good. Feels good.
Did you get many good comments there? Go to your comments. I just want to see Raiders.
I mean, a lot of, it's all AI. A lot
Damn,
of
I was hoping someone would had a crack at you.
I've got a few more. That's just a bot commenting on his account all
the
time.
How many bots, dude, eh?
Oh, so many bots on major accounts. Not the best strategy. Well, that didn't age very well. Sorry. Humper said, bruh, I said, I keep it real, mate, as evidence of me keeping it real.
Trump tweet? Someone quote tweeted Trump.
Anyone selling crypto? This is a fake one. Sorry, Cap. So this didn't age well. Sorry, legend. Not going to make it if you're waiting for memes to part. Chad knows. I don't know what that means. To the end of the saga. Hey, Big Al knows what we're talking about here. Big Al, shout out to him. Another Aussie in the crowd. Love to see it. AI. Not sorry, Bill. That didn't age well. My apologies, legend. This fuels my feed. I love this, Lucky. Well, I don't think you've been very lucky if this fuels your feed, a legend. Someone deleted their comment.
Yeah.
Discipline's more important. So yeah, that's a good reaction as well. So anyways, love to see it, guys. Hey, as I said, we're giving it to you real time, preparing you, predicting what's about to happen. No one else is doing this live every single day. We do this live every day. We've been absolutely tapped in for 2 years, nearly 3 years now, Craig, which is pretty crazy.
Well, the cool thing, I think, for people now and for ourselves included, and I need to go away and make up a bit of a montage of us calling lower high. I thought about doing it, going through all our videos and just
I thought about that too. I thought about that too, yeah.
Because there'd be hundreds of times. I went and looked up on my timeline where I wrote lower high, and that I wrote. And dude, I must have written it 50 plus times since last year. Like so many times, and I was just going to take screenshots how many times I wrote it and then just post. But a montage of our videos would be quite funny, so I might do it. But yeah, look, for the people that don't like to hear this, unfortunately, what you want to hear and what you need to hear are two different things, just like eating your veggies. So you got to embrace these moves. And like we were saying, the great thing is there's just now we're getting to opportunity time, and that's exciting. So the opportunity to make money in the longer term starts to get quite good. Just not great for memes and NFTs and altcoins over the next 6 months, which is why that pudgy penguin is such a pesky thing to own. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to
do about it. Well, you don't even PFP it, so you're not even emotionally attached to it on CT right now.
Yeah, I'm more emotionally. Yeah, I know. What am I going to do? I have not decided. I'm just watching my money go down. Yeah, I'm just embracing the losses at the moment. Two things: hold it longer term, or tax loss harvest. Those are my two options, which I'm weighing up at the moment. I'll probably just capitulate at the bottom at about $3,000, probably. But you know, kind of look, and I think if I haven't sold now,
well, that's my thinking, right? If I have, but like.
How much worse did I get, Green?
There's a world, Craig, that this $9,000 asset might never be $9,000 again. And okay, that might be fun to some people, but no, that's just me thinking realistically about risk and saying, well, in theory, you never know what can happen in the future of NFTs or Ethereum.
That's right. That's right. I mean, the NFTs at the moment, if you look at like Azuki, Moonbirds, Doodles, every single one, they're all going to go down. And unfortunately, with the market doing what it's doing, they're just going to suffer the most. Pudgy's going to, they're all, no matter how good the project is, punks included, punks are awesome, but they are going to go cheap. So do you sell your Pudgy here and then wait for the punk bottom and buy?
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, a Pudgy here is worth still $9,200. I was kind of hoping ETH dumping in USD, but ETH value going up on the Pudgy collection, which it did a little bit to 4.2, but it didn't really get much above that. Like, it would be good to, like, if punks get to, as I've been saying for a while, 20 ETH, then if you manage to sell your Pudgy for, say, 4 to 5 ETH, that's 20% of a punk at 20 ETH if it gets there. So that's, again, these are the forward steps that you got to be thinking. If you want to be smart, you want to be a good trader, good investor in crypto, even any trends, stocks, whatever it is, metals, you need to be forward thinking. And I'm always forward thinking. So yeah, that, I mean, it's hard though. It's hard.
Yeah. And I don't actually understand. What confuses me about myself is I don't know why it is hard.
Yeah, I don't know either. I have no problem selling tokens. I have no problem selling tokens.
Really annoying. NFTs are annoying, dude. I need to make myself a promise that next bull run I buy less of the shite of NFTs.
Well, you need to have the mindset that it is a trade, and that's I did that with ordinals. I did that with my Mad Lad. I did that with my first Pudgy Penguin. It's this stupid second one that I haven't treated it as a trade.
Yeah, it just shows you, even as a trader, you can be
wrong.
Yeah, you really can. And you and me, even though, you know, people are probably thinking at the start of our show, shut up about saying you're right. We've been wrong on plenty of trades. So just understand that, viewers. We understand that we do get things wrong, and we'll talk about it too. I got my Pudgy trade so wrong. And the worst part is, I'm actually thought about it. I might get a montage of kicks on our show.
Yeah, I know.
Because it will be funny. It'll be funny to make fun of ourselves, because I think sometimes the viewers need to see we get it wrong and we can laugh at ourselves. So even though we're laughing, Bitcoin, we knew it. There is times we get it wrong and it stings and I hurt and it still sucks. But you've got to be able to look at it. You've got to be able to laugh at yourself at least and go, I effed up there, and take that lesson. Dude, that was the universe when Kix came on the show saying, Craig,
I know. He talked about that.
I gave me a sign.
I watched that show the other day and he talked about that. He's like, I top ticked the Pudgy. He like sold it 60K or whatever. I was like, he literally came on our show the day of the sale.
With Eli, with the biggest sale.
I know. I think, you know what? In hindsight, Elo really got me out of my trader mindset with the bullish and hosting. I'm not blaming it, but he really just he tapped into that psychological, emotional.
He's good.
He's a good salesman, Eli. He's a good salesman.
Get him on board, Pudgies. Get Eli on board. No, that was a trade.
Abstract, get him on board.
I can't believe. Who did I say that to? I can't remember who I said that to, but I was like, man, Abstract should have got him on board ages ago, man.
Ages ago.
He was the guy you needed to onboard and give him a badge and all that stuff, because Jesus, man, he pumped the living out. But no, so we do get bad trades. I'm going to go cut that stream with Kix. He'll probably love that.
Yeah. Tag us all in it. Get it circulating again. And
get the Pudgy community smashing me for saying it. Oh God, Kix out traded me on an NFT. And the funny thing was,
he's a good NFT trader.
On that show, he said he always gets these wrong. So he's taking profit to buy his girlfriend or wife. Is it girlfriend or wife?
No, wife.
His wife? To buy her a car.
Yeah.
It was to buy her a car because he said he didn't want her getting mad at him. I'm like, fuck, my wife's going to be so mad. When I told her I was up 100 grand and now I'm down 10, it's like,
how does that work logistically?
How do I go from being up 100 to down 10? Oh God,
That's crypto. And what a beautiful interest.
I saw a good post by that guy who's quite a notable person in cryptos in Australia as well. That'll give you a clue who he is. And he mentioned that he was wrong, and we are going into bear market. I gone blank of what I was going to say. Sorry, his lesson was, what was it? I completely blank. learning from your yeah, you definitely will. What he was talking about, and this is a good point, is you need to get out of the mindset of saying I'm down 90, like I just said, and tell yourself that was never, well, it was there, but you didn't take it. So it's no longer even a factor in your thinking process. And he's actually right. That's a very important.
Yeah, as a trader, like I'll talk about my psychological, emotional attachment to that sort of thing too. Like so many people, I mean, like, and again, I'm not like calling Eli out here. I'm just using him as an example. But he's like, "Oh, I'm down 400K on my abstract meme coins." I'm like, I remember when he was on the show, I said, "No, mate, you're not down 400K. You're down from your cost basis. That you're either up from your cost basis or you're down from your cost basis." So for us on the Pudgy Penguin, as I said, I'm down 60% from $21,000. That was my buy, and it's at 9,000. I'm down around 60%, right? So it's a big lesson that took me 7 years to learn is the round trippingness, like, oh, I had all this money and now it's gone. Like, no, it was never, you never had a plan. You never stuck to your process. And this is why I build GTG. It's for this exact, if this sounds similar to you, like come and learn, but like you need to understand it's your cost basis. So any trade you take, it's the cost basis of that trade. $1,000 per position, a $5,000 meme coin buy. Your cost basis is never how much you are up or never how much you are down. It's at that point. Okay, if I spent $5,000, it is $5,000. That is the line in the sand that I need to be judging my P&L off. Right. So yeah, good lesson. That definitely good lesson.
And I think what's good about this stage of the market is you get to learn your lessons. Yeah. You get to reflect now.
Yeah.
And you get to go, right, what did I get right? What did I get wrong? And especially the wrongs, look at the wrongs and journal how you feel, journal what you can do next time to not let this happen, and put, processes in place to help you, because we're all human, we're all emotional, and it's emotions, it's yourself that you need to control in trading. And it's probably the hardest skill I've ever had to learn. And I still, I don't think you ever get to be a master of it. I think it's a lifelong skill that you're constantly trying to improve on, especially being a trader, is how to regulate your emotions, how to be honest with yourself, and then taking those lessons from your losses and implementing them to obviously not have that happen in the future. And that's why this time in the market for me is a really good time in reflection. And I spend a lot of time. So when I feel things, like when I look at that Pudgy, it's not just feeling it, kind of analyzing why you feel it, what you could do better next time, and implementing those things. And I think that's probably the most important time, and probably the most valuable time from this time now is taking your lessons and improving for the next bull. This is where the value comes. This is where the real growth comes. In the bull market, everyone's right. Because at one moment in time, there was a moment when Bitcoin was all-time high. We were all in profit. We were all correct, right? Now, how many of us are right and how many are wrong? And there's a lot more wrong than right. So now's a better time to reflect. Reflecting at all-time highs, there's no point. We're all geniuses for a moment in time. And I learned that lesson from 21, in that everyone was smart for a moment and then everyone was wrong from that point onwards, including myself. So yeah, man, big lessons, myself included, the viewers included. I'm sure the viewers they hopefully learned lessons, and we take that away. I've learned lessons, you've learned lessons. It never ends. I'm going to be wrong many more times, but it's just about trying to improve that right category. So I do see, on a plus side, daily exchange volume is starting to move up. It's gone up from 34 billion, this is a big change of pace, to 47 billion. So that's a nice. That's a nice thing.
Is that people running to the sell button?
Could be.
Liquidity is running to sell. Who knows?
Yeah, good call. Yeah, good call. Could be.
I love going back and looking at old tweets. I just discovered this one, Craig. During the April tariff dip on Solana, I said this could rally all the way to $220 and do an under test retest of that high. It went to 240 in the end and did exactly that. It had an under test retest of support, bearish, and now is at $100. Wow, it's crazy going back and knowing, and it's good. It's good for me to go back, reflect on this, and be like, no, my analysis months in advance was accurate.
This was the chart where this was the chart that Eli was on the show,
Yeah.
And Eli said when it bounced, and this I'm only using his name because he was the one on the show with us. So sorry, Eli. But I remember when it bounced to 220 or whatever, and he said, I'm never listening to you guys again. Sol's going to a new all-time high. And you and I were open to it. We were like, look, that was a great bounce. It could actually buck the trend here, bounce and actually go to an all-time high. It didn't. So yeah, man, more lessons, right? But no, you and I called that Solana chart. I've still got a little bag of Solana, but I sold, same as you, almost all of it on that complacency bounce. Glad I did. The writing was on the wall. There was a moment in time when I went, oh, this could actually send, but it didn't. So I guess that was good that we de-risked there. But my Ethereum bags, I didn't do that with, and that annoys me. I've got I had my ETH profit from my X copy that I actually didn't sell into stables. I'm like, no. So that's...
Oh, so you're holding ETH, yeah.
I've got ETH there. I actually forgot I had that wallet, and I went back to it the other day, and I was like, no, I didn't convert it into stables, you idiot. So that's one of the downsides of having a lot of wallets. Is you can
and don't forget AUD as well versus USD. Do be aware of that too.
I know, man. I know. Even our payments have gone down. So it's like, no, lost 10, 15% on that or something. So, yeah, man. Lessons, dude. I guess that's the takeaway of the show. Take your lessons. It'll be interesting to see what the viewership does over the next...
It'll go down. That's standard sort of behavior. So, but no, I do. Sorry, I have to run. Otherwise, I'll be key. I've got a meeting in 15 minutes. So,
no, we'll shoot.
No,
good show, though.
Yeah, great show. Great show. Viewership will probably go down, but it's the people who stay that will be the winners in the long term.
The big money makers. The big money makers. I'll be here. Greenie will be here. The show Market Mates will continue. We started in the bear. So, yeah, kind of fitting that we're back to it now. It's kind of a happy anniversary bear market, guys. We're back. We're back in the bear. Other than that, let's probably let you go then, Greenie. You good luck with your house and that today. Hopefully you get some good news, and hopefully you come on the show today and tomorrow and go, hey, let's go.
Let's see.
Let's go.
Thanks for hanging with us, chat. And as always, check out OKX down below. You can sign up, one of the most trusted exchanges in the world, and that's where I'll be accumulating my Bitcoin. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks, Craig, and I'll see you tomorrow.